Hi everyone, and welcome to another GOG Zoom Working Bee. Today we're really lucky to have another special guest star joining us, Chris O'Dell. Chris was a patient in the Canberra Hospital Intensive Care Unit over 2 years ago now, and after his recovery he got in touch with me, and since then he's been a real friend of GOG and a supporter. He's joining us today to give us his experience of GOG from the perspective of a patient and his family. Hi Chris, wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the first time you encountered GOG.
Well, the first meeting was when I was in ICU, and my sister, the first beanie that Mary knitted, I was the recipient of, and I was basically in a coma at the time, so this is hearsay. This is from what my sister said, and she saw when they put the beanie on my head because I was very cold at the time. I looked like my pop, and my sister said, "Oh, that's a good omen. That something is coming to us, if that makes any sense." And that's where the name of Good Omen Goodies came from, because Mary's love of the goodies. And Tim Brooke Taylor died. When was it? Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. It was very sad. Yeah, I marked the occasion on Facebook as well, which, they were a big part of my life and probably yours as well, I'm guessing. And yeah, it was very
Absolutely. Sad. So that was a very sad day. So, yes, my sister sort of saw that sort of lucky resemblance of what was going on, and that's how the Good Omen Goodies sort of got their name. But the beanie sort of stayed with me, and I only found out about it later as I was sort of recovering what the Good Omen was doing, because it was a bit of a torrid battle. I was in hospital for a good I was in and out of ICU for about 4 months, and then in and out of hospital for in and out of ICU, and then I went to a ward, and then I went to rehab for another 2 months, where the GOGs do their meets over at University of Canberra Hospital. So then I was in and out of hospital there for a period of time, and then I had an operation last year in October. It was to get a major procedure done, and the GOGs gave me my blanket. I don't know if you can see this.
Yep, and that was actually when we first introduced the Block of the Month blanket, and it was a crazy coincidence that you ended up with the first pink bomb blanket too.
Pink Block of the Month, and it suits me. It's just my colour. I've never been a pink person before until I've got this one. I found your tag on here today. I didn't realise, just as I was talking before, and this is part of the family now. So we use every evening. It comes out, but the blanket was just a little bit of comfort, and these things, you know, you get stripped basically down to not much when you're fighting for your life, and a little bit of comfort, a little bit of warmth, a little bit of a little bit of friendliness, a little bit of love, which all of these garments and all of these sort of things that you make, they're just made with love. You can just feel it. But just a little bit of warmth, a little bit of comfort when you're cold, because you're always cold in the hospital. Because when you get very, very ill, you can't regulate your temperature at all. So you're just constantly cold.
Yeah, I remember when Kath first spoke to me about the beanies and how important they were in hospital, and particularly ICU, and she told me that we lose a huge percentage of our body heat through our heads, and that the beanies actually help maintain someone's temperature when their body can't do it on its own.
Absolutely. Look, when you go into extreme conditions, like into the Alps or, skiing or something like that, you lose all your temperature from your hands. your head and your feet, exactly what you said. So yeah, to be able to moderate your temperature, well, you can't. Like when you're that thick, you just can't. Your body's just trying to. I was kept alive for 4 months, basically on machines. So you can't. You need every little bit of help you can get, and just to have the beanie was it who knows? It could have been just that little bit of thing that saved my life. I can't explain the reasons why I'm still here. Like I'm a very fortunate person. I'm very blessed. Like my odds of getting, I'm a 1%er to get out of ICU. And I spoke to my surgeon who saved my life, and he said of that 1%, you had a 20% survival rate, and of that 20% survival rate, you had a 10% survival rate. So that's, my odds are between 1 in 20,000 or 1 in 200,000. I haven't quite got a nail on that. So each day is a blessing.
I also just wanted to have a quick chat about your family's experience of GOG, which would be different to yours. I remember when you first made contact with me, I think it was about 6 months after you were out of hospital. And at that time, your sister also contacted me to pass on her thanks. And I'll never forget what she said to me when we spoke over the phone about the beanie. She said that the beanie gave us hope where there was none. And it was an incredibly powerful thing for me to hear. And that from her, and I was really touched by
it. Mary, I think that's what you're saying there is the most important thing. Like my experience of ICU, as I said, I was incubated for a long time. I was in a coma for a good 3 months. Good 4-6 weeks. Then I was in ICU for a good 3 months, and I was too busy fighting for my life, So it's how you appear to all of your family members. It's just that little bit of difference that you don't look like a corpse, if that makes any sense. Because you look like a corpse for most of the time. So yeah, just to see, as I said, my sister saw something which made a difference to her day. My wife saw a difference that made a difference to her day, and just to lighten the mood in any way is a good thing. Like if a Sharks fan comes along with a Sharks beanie and they go, "Yep, I love that." They get a smile on their face. They're distracted for 5 seconds to another pretty horrible time. That's a good thing.
Great. Well, we're about to run out of time again. So if you're happy and if no one else has any questions, we'll leave it at that today. But, I'll probably end up calling you again sometime to pop in for one of our meetings. It's lovely to have you here. And I know that, for a lot of the new members, this has been a lovely chat and to hear from you. And it's great for me to see you again too.
Mary, I wish I could do more. You know that.